Good morning. We will do creditors reconciliation today. On 30 June 2015, Corner Stores received a statement of account from Lynn Wholesalers and compared it with the account of Lynn Wholesalers in the creditors ledger. Now, first of all, we must determine who the creditor is and who the debtor will be. Okay, so Corner Stores is the books that you will be doing, and they will treat Lynn Wholesalers as a creditor because they buy from Lynn Wholesalers and they owe money to Lynn Wholesalers. Lynn Wholesalers sell to Corner Stores, therefore they will treat Corner Stores as a debtor because they sell and they will receive the money in the future. It is very important to realize at this stage that whatever Corner Stores will record on the debit side will be recorded in the books of Lynn Wholesalers on the credit side, and vice versa, because the one is in the creditors ledger and in the books of Lynn Wholesalers it is in the debtors ledger. The balances on 30 June is as follows. The account of Lynn Wholesalers in the creditors ledger had a balance of 7710. That means that this is the balance that was ended in the account at the end of the month. So if we look in the creditors ledger, you will see that the last balance in this creditors ledger was 7710. If we go to the statement of account, we see that they ended the account with 12902. So that was the closing balance in the books of the wholesalers. So here we will start in the creditors reconciliation statement and show that the balance in the books of the creditor ended with 12,902. A debit note issued for 827 was correctly recorded in the creditors ledger. Therefore, it means there was no mistakes in the books of Corner Stores and you will not record anything in your creditors ledger. It was treated as an invoice on the statement of account. So who made the mistake? It was correctly recorded in the creditors ledger, so Corner Stores did not make a mistake. In the statement of account, it was treated incorrectly, so therefore Lynn Wholesalers made the mistake. And we will go to Lynn Wholesalers and say that mistake must now be corrected. And when we do it in this creditors reconciliation statement, you must think, what did they do first of all and how must we correct it? So if we look at the entry, it was a debit note, and in their books, when the goods are returned, it should be put on the credit side. What did they do? They entered it as an invoice. So because they recorded it as an invoice, they entered this entry on the debit side. Remember, in their books, they're treating Corner Stores as a debtor. Now, to correct that mistake, we first of all have to take out this amount that they put on the debit side, and we have to go and credit it with 827. Then we also have to do the original correct entry, that's another 827. So in total, the account will be credited with 1654. First of all, with 827 to take out this incorrect entry that was made there. And then another 827 to show that is what was supposed to go in this account on the credit side. And then we will reduce the account to show that less money is owed to them. If we look at the next entry, Corner Stores made a mistake recording invoice 357 as 2050 in the creditors journal. The correct amount is 5020. Okay, first of all, again, we determine who made the mistake. Corner Stores made the mistake. That means you will have to correct it in the creditor's ledger. Then we must determine how did they make the mistake and how will we correct this mistake. So if we look at the creditor's ledger and we determine how we have to correct this mistake, we will say that they've put the invoice down as 2050. So they recorded it as 2050. What does that mean? They credited the account with 2050. The correct amount is 5020. So did they enter too much or too little in the account? The correct amount is 5020. They only showed 2050, so they entered too little. An invoice is recorded on the credit side. So because the figure on the credit side was too little, you will have to add an additional figure on the credit side. So I will take the 5020 and subtract the 2050 from it to see how much I have to put onto the credit side to get the total amount that was supposed to be there in the first place if no mistake was corrected. Because we entered on the credit side, it means that it will increase my balance and the business will now owe more money to the wholesalers. If we look at the next entry, Lynn Wholesalers neglected to record a discount of 364. Corner Stores didn't make a mistake, so you will not record anything in the creditor's ledger. Lynn Wholesalers made the mistake. They neglected to record the entry, so there was nothing recorded. Because they treat Corner Stores as a debtor, it means they increase Corner Stores on the debit side and they decrease it on the credit side. So if there was discount, it means that they had to reduce the account and therefore you will show the 364 on the credit side and the outstanding balance will reduce. The statement of account showed a debit of 204. These goods were not purchased by Corner Stores. Okay, so here again there's a mistake. We have to determine who made this mistake. The statement of account showed a debit of 204. So according to the statement of account, Corner Stores bought goods for 204 Rand. These goods were not bought by Corner Stores, so therefore the wholesalers made a mistake incorrectly recording an entry that was not supposed to be there. They entered this on the debit side, so if they want to correct it, they must correct it on the credit side. So purchases incorrect on statement of account will go on the credit side to correct the original mistake that was entered on the debit side. And that means that the outstanding amount will reduce again. Now, after we recorded all these corrections, what do you see? We have the same balance in the creditor's reconciliation and we have that same balance in the creditor's ledger. So if we corrected everything and there's no more mistakes, these two balances should be the same. If they're still not the same, you have to go and look for additional mistakes. What did we learn today? You always start with the closing balances. So you will start in the creditor's ledger and in the creditor's reconciliation with a closing balance. If the business made a mistake, then the correction will be done in the creditor's ledger. If there was an omission of an entry in the books of the business, it will be completed in the creditor's ledger. And if they recorded the entry incorrectly, it will be corrected in the creditor's ledger. In the reconciliation statement, if the creditor made a mistake, it will be corrected in the creditor's reconciliation statement. Any omissions that was left out by the creditor will be corrected in the creditor's reconciliation statement. Record the entry as the entry would have been completed in the debtor's control or debtor's ledger, because the entry is completed in the same way as the creditor will record it in their books. And in their books, they treat corner stores as a debtor. So all the entries in the creditor's reconciliation will be done as it would be done in a debtor's situation. So it means debtors increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side.